So today we have our first speaker, Dr. Ishaan Paudel. So he's a professor at economics at Sheridan College with nearly 15 years of teaching and research experience across Nepal and South Korea, US, and Canada, with more than a decade of Magna Partic Poise experience at Nepal Bank and global development. And his areas of interest is mainly in international finance. And through his academic research and policy experience, we believe he will bring us insight into economics, finance, public policy, and global development. So here's the stage for Dr. Ishaan Paudel. Can you please give us your presentation? We're eagerly waiting for it.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. First of all, good morning to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, maybe based on where you are. All right. As said, I am the professor of economics in Sheridan College, and I have my presentation topic today because it is related to my area: new global economic order in making. It is about related to your company's vision as well. It is a lot of things I have covered today also relates to technology. Let's see, because the future is going to be driven by technology, and my topic is all about that. Even though I focus mostly on economic side, uh, I talk a lot about the technology as well at the same time. So, first of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk yeah, through this conference. And thank you all, everyone, for being here to listen to my talk. All right. So, here is my topic: new global economic order in making. Especially due to the things that are happening in the world now, basically the in the technology side, especially the language models. So we see that something new is happening in the economic system. That's me, Ishaan Paudel, Sheridan College, Canada. So here's my outline. So basically, I took this presentation from my book manuscript. I'm writing a couple of series in the book called Wealth of the World, uh, sitting on the idea of wealth of nations by Adam Smith. Back in about like 250 years ago, Adam Smith wrote the book Wealth of Nations. And back then, we did not have technology, like internet. We did not have planes. We did not have electricity. The book was written long while ago, but everything that we do today is based on that book. And the idea of writing the book came because of these reasons. So because we have new world here, so we need to have a new economic have new economic theories. That's what I'm working on, and this is the first book. Actually, I'm writing three books almost simultaneously, and the this is the foundation for the next book. And many of the arguments I have taken from that book manuscript here. So what is happening in the world today is the first point, as you see, they're going beyond service sector of the economy. Economy has mainly three sectors: agriculture, manufacturing, and service. And today the world is mostly dominant in service sector. But in the past, we have mostly agriculture long while ago, as you see here in the graph. Long while ago, about like when agriculture was invented, like about 12,000 years ago, and most of the human history was dominated by agriculture. But as lately as like 250 years ago, after industrial revolution, we came up with a manufacturing, and the manufacturing became dominant after that. But now we are heading towards the service. We are in the service sector, but we are heading towards the very different sectors of the economy. As you see in this graph to the left, like 2050, I have worked out on that where the economy is going to go. So this like a orange box here, almost orange, not properly orange, but orange box is for the knowledge economy. So we are in the knowledge economy. We are going to that direction by 2050. But by the end of the century, we're going to have very new sectors coming up, which is the yellow box here. They are not still known pretty much because there is a little work has been done so far in those areas. Most of the economic theories that we have, they cover up to the service sector. A little bit of work is there, but I'm trying to extend that, capturing all of the new areas that are coming up. So the first thing, going beyond the service sector of the economy, that is happening rapidly, but in a hidden format, and that is basically guided by the technology. So yeah, this conference is about technology, I believe. I'm taking a lot of ingredients. So the books is actually the multidisciplinary. I have taken many ideas from history, even from philosophy, technology, science, everything. It has been taken together, and the technology is mostly dominated there. And another thing that is happening is consumerism to devourism, because the world now is kind of in a party, I would say, everywhere, because we produce a lot, we consume a lot, and the term consumerism came up about 100 years ago. And now it looks like, based on the data, as you see here, this is the data, devourism is happening. See this segment, this is the consumer consumption, GDP actually, back then 92% of other products now. Okay, other than food, in the past, the food was dominant, but now 92% of other things, which is pretty much an indicative of the devourism that is happening today. It is growing actually. Okay, and another thing, distribution part. The world is, because we have achieved so much progress so far, but what is not happening is distribution, fair distribution. Well, we are dependent on the market system, but sometimes market system is not capable of distributing resources in a fair manner. So that's what we need to look at. Well, market system is a very good system. It creates a lot of wealth. As I said, Adam Smith invented this idea, free market system. And after that, we created a lot of wealth. That's a very good part of market system. But when it comes to the distribution side, it is not happening pretty well. And in the book, I have divided the world in a very different format here, like the global south, global north. We did that before. And we have different variety of countries: poor, middle income countries, and high income countries. There are several divisions, but I have worked out in a very different world, in which we have two separate worlds here, as you see there in the graph. Um, one first one, I call it early runners, which is the green part there. Early runners is UK, basically the Western economies, and then also now the eastern part of Asia as well. So these are the early runners, and they have achieved a lot of progress by this time. A lot of wealth is concentrated to those regions. But other parts, as you see there, basically the Eastern Asia, not all, but most of this, no, so Western Asia, and then Africa, as you see there, and then South America. They are late runners. I have termed the new term here, early runners and late runners, and they are way behind behind early runners. In terms of many indicators, they are not capable of raising their living standard. And one of the data I have here, the reason I divided the world this way is because I just wanted to show the world in terms of distribution, like what is happening here. Because why there are two different worlds like this? Because we are horrendously failed actually in the in distribution side. Okay. Just one example I have given here, like in 2020, we have this data now, like 1826 kilocalorie food per day. That's what we need on average in the world, based on the population at that time. We need total of 1,826 kilocalorie food per day on average per individual. And how much we produced that year? We produced 2,982 kilocalorie per head. So production is so high as compared to what we need, but where is that going? So as you see in another data here, almost 1 billion people are severely food in the situation of food insecurity. And many people die every day by hunger. Like 25,000 people die every day by hunger. Those numbers doesn't come into media, but that's the reality. And the food is abundantly available to us, but it is not reaching to the people where it is needed. And part of the reason is because of the market system's failure, because market system brings the food in those areas where there is profitable. Okay? And we need food in those areas like late runners areas, but the food makes its way to the early runners world, as you see in the markets everywhere, right? The food are coming from there. So this is one of the limitations of the market system. Well, as I said, it is we're not going to go against the market system because it has enormous ability to create the wealth. But this is what we don't want to see, right? So world needs to be like whatever we produce. By the way, in the future, we're going to have the technology like we are using AI or generative AI, all these technologies, and we're going to increase our productivity even so higher, and we're going to produce a lot of things. But how to distribute those things? That's the challenge. Market system alone is not fully capable of doing that. That's why I said new global economic order in making now. So which will ensure the fair distribution of what we produce. Maybe we will have a technology that can produce a lot of things, but if we don't have the system which can distribute that production to each part of the world, that doesn't make sense. So we need to find that out. So we need to have a new economic vision for that. And that's all about that. My manuscript, the first one, and the second one, I'm trying to do the theories behind that. I'm going to talk briefly about that as well in a moment. And the next thing, as you see here, riches won't need poor in the future. That is what is happening. The data shows that there is a kind of polarization between rich countries and poor countries. So they are coming together, as the data shows here. See, as one of the data, like in 1840, there was 0.05%, which this is the trade between non-rich and non-rich. In 1840, long while ago, it was just 0.05%. But in 1940, it raised to 1.2% after 100 years. And now 1950, this the 2014, we have this data, it is hoping 29%. So you can just imagine what is happening in the world through history here. Just if we look at from the lens of history, so there is a polarization happening in the world where the rich are trading with them by themselves and the poor are trading by themselves. Okay, and there is one theory called gravity theory that also explains this fact. Gravity theory of trade. Trade happens between rich and poor, and the closer to their distance as well. Like in Europe, they trade each other instead of they trade with others. Mostly, like they do trade with North America, US and Canada, but mostly their trade goes within themselves. So meaning that there are two different worlds are in making as well. So rich probably won't need poor in the future if it goes like this. So that's why we need a different system to tackle this situation, to address this situation. And the last but not the least here, specialization is happening because of the technological advancement as well we have achieved in space technology. So we had a term globalization. We coined this term in 1980s, and now it looks like we are going towards space. And space economy is rising at this time very rapidly. Artemis, we sent just about a month ago, circling the moon, right? And long while ago, we reached the moon as well. And so many indicators I have generated there that shows that we are heading towards specialization, and our economy is going to be dependent on that. Okay, in the future, we will have to take care of this situation like we did with globalization, right? So globalization, there's a recently some people say that there is a threat on globalization, but it's not going to happen. The history shows that we are heading towards more connection. And the reason I wrote this book is because of that reason as well. Because Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith was for nations, but we are so much integrated today. So much integrated today. The world looks like just one world. And then we need to think about that. And once we are connected now, like within the planet Earth here, then people's eyes are now towards the sky. Okay, what we can do about like how to harness the energy, for example. So many things are happening. So I have a couple of indicators here, not a couple of many indicators I have created here. This one and this one, almost like 20 indicators, shows that we are heading towards that direction. In terms of economy, it is a more than $1 trillion economy, space economy. And for example, the number of people who have been to space, 1961 only four. In 2021, I need to update this data. 2021, we have 570 people already in space. And spaceports, like for example, another number seven here, number of spaceports, 1957, just one, from where we launch our spacecrafts. But in 2023, we have 62 spaceports. So meaning that, like in during the time of exploration, the great exploration that happened with Columbus back in um, 15th century. At that time, the seaports were being built everywhere. Okay, we see seaports everywhere. But what is happening in the world now? There are spaceports that are expanding rapidly, and we are sending spacecrafts towards the sky in a very rapid pace, and so many other things. So many other data shows that we are heading towards space. That's why I said the new global economic order is going to also capture this dimension as well in the future because the space economy is rising so rapidly. And then about I hope I have time for that. Okay, so now how do I envision the new world? So one of the key ideas I'm working on right now is the decentralized value creation. It's not about, because I talked about the distribution, so many things there. I am going for a totally different approach here, where we go for more decentralized value creation, more democratic way of value creation. It's not about the socialism at all, but it's about the more democratic way, more transparent way, and more value creation through knowledge using the technology. And then I call it like worth of knowledge. I'm working on the new theory on economics, which is knowledge theory of value. So far we have dealt with mostly labor theory of value. So every economic foundation is based on labor theory of value, which was developed by Adam Smith, and later on Karl Marx took that further, taking the same idea of labor theory of value. But now it is not only labor we can produce things, right? It is knowledge actually that helps produce more and more. So how about we can bring the knowledge as a true asset that can create a lot of wealth, like some people are still have started talking about. Okay, let's produce things like maybe we're not going to have a work days, because we if we can produce a lot, we may not need to work. But only thing is how to distribute that production. That's the key point here. That's the very challenging point, how to distribute. Unlike in socialism, okay, there was a force by the government, which that's one of the reasons why that was failed, right? Um, uh, why socialism failed, I have given many reasons for that. So that's not the ideal system, uh, there is a system. I think that's what I'm working on. That system is going to create more values, and I focus on more quality wealth instead of only monetary wealth. I'm trying my best to bring both dimensions of welfare. One is called materialistic welfare. That's what we are doing mostly. Like we buy goods, a lot of we consume. We are heading towards the Baharism, as I said before. That gives us materialistic well-being, but I'm trying to capture non-materialistic well-being as well. So that's why I said at the very first point there, we are going beyond tertiary sector. I call it purposive sector. Purposive sector means that we work for some purpose, which also captures non-materialistic well-being as well. And it will be more democratic, it will be more transparent, and I call it like a cap system. So far, we are running under gap system because the gap is actually the profit. Basically, business's profit actually drives the economy within the competitive environment. I have taken the competitive environment as well. There should be competition. There should be innovations. So many things has to be there under the decentralized value creation system. And but I have worked on a little bit different way, which is called cap system. So I'm not going to talk about that today here. That's a very long story behind that. I think this is all my presentation is. And the last thing, but not the least, I just want to say this is all about my website there, my book website, wealthoftheworld.org. I put all those three books synopsis there. And also as a hobby work, I work on the one family. I believe in like integrated world. That's why I started writing this. I take the entire world as one family, and I have one website for that as well. One world, one family. Yeah, these are some related. This is my hobby work. During the free time, I create some contents and put it there. Those kind of things I do. Okay, that's all about my presentation. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here and listening to my presentation. Let me stop sharing here. Did I stop sharing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much once again. And it's this early morning, 8 o'clock, Saturday morning. Some of you are there, maybe from within Canada. It is so early morning here. Once again, thank you for the host for giving me opportunity to present my work. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ishaan Paudel, for the presentation.
Mhm.
We will have some questions on the chat for you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let me see there. Okay. Yeah. How did the concept of decentralized value creation challenge the traditional global economic system and existing models of development? Okay, good question. Yeah, I think I briefly explained that already. Decentralized value creation is about there are three themes actually. Decentralized value creation. One is the most important thing is transparency. I focus on transparency. Um, like because I have the device one system. I briefly want to talk about that, which is I call global system. It is dependent on the information system. The problem today with the market system is about the system is not transparent. Just everything is kind of hidden there. Rich people get a lot of richer, and poor gets poorer and poorer. So because transparency is not happening there, so the decentralized value creation mechanism is going to embrace the transparency. And another thing I'm going to capturing the knowledge. So information, basically knowledge has three components. One of them is information. I'm trying my best to capture that dimension as well. So new economic system is going to as you said, there are existing development models. I have I have something as well there for the existing development models. Like I have a little bit different vision there, like in terms of distribution, which I talked about a lot. The distribution in which we are failing miserably, actually, and that the decentralized value creation is all about like the creation of the value by people on their own. That's the key point here. Like for example, there is a problem. Let's just one example I want to give. There is a problem in the society. Okay? Like people are like maybe elderly, don't have people to take care of them. Problems are there, but the current market system or not like current market system does not allow anybody to take care of those people because there is no payment system for that. So everything needs to go to the market to be captured that dimension of welfare in the society. But the decentralized value creation mechanism is gonna take that into account. So the recording is the main factor here. The recording, how to record those activities. So that's the way it's gonna capture. Basically it will challenge the existing development models based on those three areas I already mentioned. And the second question, in what ways can technological advancement help build a more sustainable and inclusive future? What risk might arise if societies fail to adapt effectively? Okay, yeah, that's another good question here. I'm trying to capture the technology. Basically, technology is going to be the vehicle to have the decentralized value creation. So the recording is important, and the technology is going to record those things. And one thing I want to mention here, the history of human history has been transformed by basically the language tools. We invented writing long while ago, thousands of years ago, and the human civilization took a very different trajectory. And then printing press did the same thing. Now we have the new technology, which is the AI, right? And this technology is going to bring us to the very new dimension. That's what I'm trying to capture. So one basic problem is here, not to concentrate the wealth to the people who use the technology. That's the very important thing here. It's a very challenging work, but decentralized value creation. As I said, the cap system there, gap system fails to that, but the cap system actually embrace the technology in a very effective way. So how to adapt effectively, as you mentioned there. So the global system has envisioned that. So maybe in the next presentation I'll talk about that. But that system actually depends on the technology. Once we have the technology, if there is no good technology, we cannot do this system. We cannot implement this system. So the technology is going to be the important vehicle for that. And the last question here, what are the major emerging global patterns shaping the future economic order? As I mentioned, those things, five things, as I said there, and how might they affect developing countries differently from developing? Oh, that's another good point here. Okay, I mentioned those six things there already. That are the major trends that are happening. One of the key areas which I have got funding for to work on the going beyond the tertiary sector. The first one, I got funding from the college as well to work on that. And I'm continuing working on that. The purpose sector, that one thing, and specialization, and so many things are happening. That's the thing. And the second part of the question here, how might they have, okay, developing countries, yeah, I'm from the developing countries originally. And then I always think about that. I see the poverty from very close, and so many things I know about the development side. I also worked in the central bank of Nepal, long time, many years, and I could see all those projects and all those things trying to handle, trying to address the poverty problem there. So I know the all these things happening there. And then the question, to your question, how might they affect developing countries? Well, coming back to the decentralized value creation, what is happening in developing countries today is this, because we are not able to record the values. That's the key point. Okay, because developed world got developed because they recorded all values. The market system helped them record all values that society can create. The us has $25 trillion GDP. How? because we recorded those values. But in developing countries, there's a huge potential to record values. That's why I said non-materialistic well-being is the main component of this new theory. So non-materialistic well-being, like for example, practicing democracy, practicing peace in the society, those kind of things have the values, but they are not coming into the capture of economic system today. And in developing world, there is a potential, huge potential to record those values. And this is just the idea generation project. I do generate the idea, but let's see how it is going to go. But there is a focus on developing country as well in those ideas. Hopefully I answered the questions.
Yes, thank you very much for your participation and for the wonderful presentation. Your vision and experience would be really beneficial to everyone, and thanks for sharing your knowledge with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Have a good day.